everybody, Laura here, and in this video you will learn how to make a bikini top with awesome support that will give your girls a very nice look. Plus, I will show you how to create two super cute strap styles. For this project, I used about half a yard or 45 centimeters of stretchy fabric and stretch linen, 1/4 inch wide elastic, a sewing machine, and ballpoint needles for stretch fabrics, and the sewing pattern. There are so many types of triangle tops out there, but for me, this is the perfect size and shape for a triangle top. And unlike a basic bikini top, this pattern is designed with double straps that not only adds a cool design detail, but also makes it more comfortable and gives better support. After printing and assembling the pattern, I traced this size small outline onto thinner paper so I could use it to cut the fabric. Then I place it on the stretch fabric to cut two pieces. After that, I cut 4 pieces out of the stretch linen fabric. I also cut the fabric strips for the straps, but I will tell you more about those later. Now let's start sewing by creating some pockets for removable pads. I take 2 of the linen pieces and fold down the top point of the triangle, a little over 3 inches or about 8 centimeters. I pin it in place and sew it about 1 centimeter or 3/8 of an inch from the edge, using a small zigzag stitch. Then I trim off the extra fabric from the tip, leaving just about half centimeter or 1/4 inch of seam allowances like this. Next, I grab the triangle pieces I cut from the main fabric. With the wrong side facing up, I place the full linen piece on top of this, then the folded linen piece like this. I use pins to hold everything in place, and then it's time to add the elastic along the edges. First, I measure 1.5 inches down from the tip of the triangle and make a little mark. Then at the bottom edge, I measure 2 inches up and make another mark. And I do this on both sides of each triangle. Then I set my machine to a zigzag stitch with a length of 4 and a width of 4. I place the end of the elastic on the first mark and start sewing it with the zigzag stitch, stretching it just very slightly as I go. When I reach the second mark, I backstitch to secure the seam and cut off the extra elastic. I repeat the same process on each side of both triangle pieces so they will look like this. Next, I sew a straight stitch across the bottom edge, and I do this about half a centimeter or 1/4 inch from the edge. After that, I fold the elastic inwards and using the same zigzag stitch with the length of 4 and a width of 4, I sew along the edge to keep it folded. This time starting from the very top and sewing all the way to the end on each side. And if the linen shifts a little, like it did here, just trim the extra fabric so it doesn't get on the way when sewing the other side. And repeat the same steps on the other triangle piece. After that, it's time to create the channels for the underbust straps. I measure 2 inches up from the bottom edge and start making little marks along the base of the triangle like this. Then I fold the bottom edge up until it reaches those marks and pin it in place little by little, making sure it's nice and even. To sew this part, I set the machine to a tiny zigzag stitch with a length of 1.8 and a width of 2, and slowly sew along the folded edge that spin it up like this. To split this big channel into 2 sections, I mark the center between the stitch I just made and the bottom edge of the piece. In this case, the center is half an inch from the edge. So I start marking it with little dots, and you can also draw a full line if that's easier for you to follow, because then I'm going to sew along those marks using the small zigzag stitch again. Once that's done, you will have 2 channels that look like this. For the straps, I cut fabric strips that are 4 centimeters wide. The length and number of straps depends on which of the 2 styles you decide to make. And to sew the straps, I use the same method as in my video, my favorite way to sew strong bikini straps fast. If you haven't seen it yet, I will leave the link in the description box below. The straps will look like this, and now it's time to attach them to the top. For the double strap style, I cut two pieces that are 27.5 inches or 70 centimeters long each. Then I fold the top tip of the triangle down by 3 centimeters or a little over 1 inch and sew 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter from the edge. This creates a mini channel where the strap will go through like this. And once you add the underbust straps too, the top will look like this. Now to make a top with braided straps, I cut 6 strips, each one 14 inches long or 35 centimeters long. And to give it a fun look, I used 2 in the main fabric color, 2 in lilac and 2 in green. Then I take the strip that will be in the center and pin it down on top of the front. I measure 3 centimeters or a little over 1 inch from the top and make a little mark. That's where I will sew it, backstitching at the beginning and end. Then I fold the tip downward so the strap points up and sew a second stitch 1.5 centimeters or 5/8 of an inch from the edge. This holds the strap in place and creates a channel for the other 2 straps that I will use to make the braid. Next, I take 1 lilac and 1 green strap, pin them together and sew like this. After that, I attach a safety pin to one end to help me pass them through the channel. And then I adjust the color so they are nicely centered. And now it's time to braid the straps to create a super cute look. To finish, I sew across the ends to secure the braid and trim off the excess so it will look like this. For the underbust straps, I used 2 strips in different colors, each 1 meter or 39.5 inches long. To finish the ends, I folded 1 centimeter or 3/8 of an inch inward and stitched them down for a clean finish. Then, with the help of the safety pin, I threaded each strap through the channels at the bottom of the top, placing 1 color in each channel. And once you're done, you can add a pair of padding cups to your top like this. Here is how the braided style turned out. It adds such a fun texture detail to the top and it gives it a more unique look. I have also made the double strap version in a lot of different colors. It looked great when I had implants, and now that I'm back to my God-given factory settings, it's still one of my favorite tops. Remember, in your hands lies the power to turn the invisible into visible. I love pairing these tops with the bikini bottoms that have the double side bands. If you haven't seen that video yet, I will leave it right here for you. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!